her going 70 was kind of helpful because it wasn't like a dead stop on the back of her. So,
But that can be, yeah, I
and it didn't stop. Yep. No.
Join us in the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I saw you.
Dear Heavenly Father, I want to thank you, Lord, for another opportunity to be here in your presence. Just ask that you be with us, Lord, in this meeting, and as we go forward, Lord, that the decisions made be according to your will, Lord. Just ask that you watch over each and every person in here, and just be with us, Lord. In Jesus' name, amen. Alright, so we don't have an official agenda for tonight, because mainly we're here to talk about ordinances and I guess, election, how we're going to proceed with that.
And I've started going through the boxes, have yet to find any official ordinances in there, which, not shocking, I think we kind of expected that. And this is just to give you guys an update. I think I talked about this at the last town board meeting, but just to make sure everybody in the town is aware of what it is that we're working on, we're talking about. One of the long-term goals that we want to have, Hardinsburg's been around for a good long time, but we haven't always necessarily, from what we can ascertain from the documents we've got at least, it doesn't look like the formalities of making sure what needs to be done whenever the town board passed an ordinance was done. We can't tell that that was always done. A little bit of how the sausage is made on that is whenever your town board votes on something at a meeting, what's supposed to happen is the ordinance is supposed to get written up, it's supposed to be given to the clerk treasurer, they're supposed to maintain a book of ordinances, and that way we've got a record of what the ordinances of the town are, so that if you need to know, is there an ordinance about sidewalk related issues, is there an ordinance about animal control, is there a zoning ordinance for the town, we've got all of that in an actual ordinance book. So I'm going through the records that we got back from the county whenever the town was reestablished this summer to see what, if anything, we've got to show the ordinances of the town. So far, not a lot of luck in that regard. So the next step of that then is to go through old meeting records to see what did we vote on to try to establish a record of what was the intent to have ordinances of. The long-term goal that I'm going to be putting together for the town board's consideration is for us to ultimately codify all of our ordinances. What that means is we would have an online source for everybody to go to be able to look up your ordinances. So instead of it being in a book that Ashley's got with her at all times, and you guys would have to call Ashley to figure out what the ordinances are, you can literally just go to Google and say Hardinsburg, Indiana ordinances, and there'll be a website you can go to find all of those ordinances. And there's companies that work with small towns to put that stuff together. I'm currently doing that with Paul Myra, who I'm the town attorney as well. We're finishing that process with Paul Myra right now. I've already reached out to them and said, hey, I want to start this process for Hardinsburg as well so that we can get that taken care of. Anything we can't find, the good news is we can pretty quickly put some basic ordinances together for the town board's review to just have some basic rules about how to conduct meetings, some very basic public safety ordinances that most towns pass, nothing terribly controversial, and then obviously we would present all of that to the town board, have the opportunity for public comment on all of that stuff before it even gets adopted. So that's one of the big projects we have, and as we're doing that, obviously the town board members, as I'm doing all of this research and working with American Legal, which is the company that will codify through, the town board's going to tell me what are the ordinances they think are important. They want to hear from you guys, and I want to hear from you guys. What are the things that you feel like as a town we need to have specific rules about? So that way, when we're going through this process, we can get as much of that done on the first draft as possible to get you guys taken care of. So I know a few months ago, one of the issues that came up was sidewalks. People had some questions about the sidewalks. Having a good sidewalk ordinance is going to be one of the questions right now. Again, we haven't found anything to indicate that, and so being able to have an ordinance of, do we want the town town responsible for that? Some towns actually say that the property owners have to be responsible for their sidewalks. So that's one of the concerns we need to address, is what's gonna be the town's rule on that. Is it gonna be coming out of the taxpayer's budget, or is it just gonna be coming out of the individual property owner's budget? Do we want, leash law in Hardinsburg where you can't have your dog out unless, outside of your fenced-in yard unless there's a leash? Do we want, whatever else you guys think is important to your town? Do we want rules and regulations about bed and breakfast, for example? That's another one that kind of commonly comes up this day and age. So if there's stuff like that that's important to you guys, make sure that Wayne, that Hank, Alex, Ashley, myself, make sure one of us knows about that, so that we can get, so that I can, because I'll be the one kind of pulling all that together to get the draft together. Nothing's gonna be official until it's presented to the board has every opportunity to consider it, you all have the opportunity to see it in writing, have the opportunity to have public comment on all of that, but we're kind of at that stage now of figuring out what did we get back from the county, what historically has the town done in the right way, what are the things that, while well-intentioned, maybe didn't get done the correct legal way, so that we can straighten all of that stuff out for you guys. Make sense, everybody?
Thank you.
So with that, I guess, Wayne, if you're okay with it, I'll open the floor to everybody. Are there any particular concerns and issues that you guys want me to start looking into? I know the sidewalks is kind of an issue, and I can present a few different proposals of how municipalities handle sidewalk-related issues. I know we need a master zoning ordinance. We talked about that because there's been some concerns related to a number of different things, and the first step to that is we've got to have a master zoning ordinance. So we'll have to have all of the steps needed for that, and that's a little bit of a lengthier process to pass the zoning ordinance. But what are some of the other things that everybody kind of wants looked at as we're putting these ordinances together? Because we don't necessarily have to do it all in one shot. We can do the important ones faster and save the big code for a little bit later.
We sent you, I think we sent you a list, didn't we, ones that we all kind of discussed?
I think like a month or so ago, you sent me an email with a few different ones that we can see here.
And like, as far as those mainly went for like health and safety issues, I think.
Let's see, might have been a text message, you sent that out in my email right now. I know we also need to address the election will be the other one. Oh, you did send that to me actually. Let's see.
The most frequent one I've heard from residents are noise ordinance,
Noise ordinance.
and then a vehicle ordinance as far as extra vehicles.
Not licensed and insured, like in all.
So basically having junk vehicles out on the property.
And yard maintaining, I think some people, because some properties, but other properties may not be maintained, so.
So yard maintenance, okay.
Loose dog,
What is it?
loose dog.
Loose dogs and animals. Okay. And that one very commonly, I mean, we're more of a rural town, so very commonly that gets written to include various different types of pets and non-livestock, obviously, cows are really taken care of. I mean, just a case in point, another municipality, I'm having to draft a chicken ordinance right now. They have people letting their chickens go around, and people are finding presents from the chickens on their front porch.
Yeah.
So, and I'm not talking about eggs.
And then, so, I think one of my questions was, I don't know if it's something that we kind of come up with, but as far as like, so if we put a noise ordinance in place, how's that enforced?
We don't have enforcement.
Because we don't have, we don't have, like, a cop's not gonna drive down here from Salem when there's only two on shift at night and to enforce somebody's noise complaint, so. And if we go out, I'm not gonna go out at 1 o'clock in the morning, just like I said, when they're, and.
So there's a couple of different ways we can do that. One is we can enter into an interlocal agreement with law enforcement in a contiguous municipality. So we could enter into an agreement with one of the other towns around us that has either police or marshal or something like that. The other is if we want to go this avenue, we can hire our own town marshal to enforce that stuff. So, for example, Palmyra, Greenville up the road in Floyd County, they both be, an option there. Like I said, we can enter into an interlocal agreement and just kind of pay another municipality to have a part-time officer come through from time to time. Like you said, it's kind of a cost benefit. How much do we want to spend? How many calls do we think we're gonna have on this type of stuff? And then obviously, whatever ordinance we have, it's gonna have enough liquidity in there to hopefully disincentivize the behavior if we're gonna have whatever solution we're gonna have for enforcement. So that's something to think about. And I'll present, as I'm drafting, I'll kind of make the noise, or I feel like kind of probably the most important ones immediately would be, because we can pass those without nearly as much difficulty. Noise, vehicle, yard maintenance, animals. Sidewalks and zoning is gonna take a little bit more, because the property related stuff like that typically tends to be a little bit more difficult, because there's a number of public hearings and things like that. There's other interagency hearings we have to have, but stuff like that, we can typically pass a little bit more.
And can we add, so would trash be added in there for, as in like yard maintenance, or is that separate? Just keeping the property cleaned up?
So there's a couple of different ways that I've seen towns do that. It just kind of depends on what you mean by yard maintenance. So some have, like, how long can your grass be? Some do have loose debris and things like that. So that's been a concern historically, of making sure that there's no significant trash and refuse. We can include that in there. I would typically advise do that as separate violations within the ordinance. So you have one violation for grass and weeds or overgrown, you have a separate violation for open refuse. So,
That's all my questions.
So,
yeah, this is happening. I think somebody sent it to me at some point, I can't remember if I did or not, but, honestly, probably easiest thing to do is just kind of pick up flyers on it. Make my life easier. Perfect.
so was there something else you were gonna address as far as election was?
Yes, and so Wayne and I talked a little bit about this, just to make sure all of you are in the loop and that the town is in the loop. So there was some statutory changes made this year by the General Assembly regarding municipal elections. Ordinarily, municipal elections are in that odd numbered year. So our next midterm election is this coming year in 2026. The next town election will not be until 2027, so it's on that off year. The General Assembly changed the law and said towns and cities can opt into getting their elections synchronized with presidential election years if we want to do that. The thought process behind that was you obviously have higher turnout in presidential election years. People tend to be paying more attention to the electoral process just in general in those years. And so it might potentially get more people to come out to vote for your smaller positions on the ballot, such as your town government. So if that's something we want to do, that's a process that we can start. It does require us to pass a resolution in January of this coming year to do it. We wouldn't be able to start it in 2028. Let me pull up my text messages with Wayne here just to make sure I go, because I know I outlined it for you in our text of how we would have to do it. What we would do is we would pass a resolution saying that the officers elected in 2027, instead of serving a 4-year term like they currently would do, we would say we want our 2027 officers to only serve a 3-year term. All of their terms would then expire in 2030, which would be a presidential election year, and then in 2030, everybody's up for election, and going forward, everybody's on a 4-year election cycle to coincide with the presidential election years. And if we want to do that, we would have to pass that resolution somewhere between January and August of 2026. So that's something for us to start thinking about now, so that if we want to do that, we can pass that resolution in those first 8 months of 26 and get it over to the clerk's office in 26, so that she knows that our 27 election is our last odd year election for the town.
And what about staggered terms? How does that work exactly? Because the concept makes sense, but how it actually works, I'm not really following how that works.
Sure. So, right now, all of our board members are elected at the same election, so all of your terms expire on the same day, start on the same day, and we basically start with a clean slate each time. Some municipalities, and you see this on nonprofit boards and corporate boards as well, that sometimes they will stagger the boards where not every seat expires at the same time. The idea, there's pros and cons to doing it that way. One of the one of the major benefits of that in political positions such as township governments and town governments is the idea is you're insulating your board from a potential political current that might pass. So if you've got a political movement that is really big in one election cycle, but you expect it to pass in a different election cycle, if all of your board members are up in the same year, whatever that wave is going to elect your entire board with that wave. Whereas if you stagger your board, only part of your board is affected by that, the other part of your board is not going to be elected that way. It's how the U.S. Senate is done. So each year each 2 years that we vote, a third of the Senate comes up. So that way the other 2/3 of the Senate is insulated that election cycle from whatever the political influences are on that particular election cycle. So we could do a similar thing with the town board and say, hey, we're going to stagger this to where moves some of these to 1 year, some of these to another year if we wanted to attempt to insulate it that way if we wanted to do that. And again, that's the biggest pro and con. The biggest pro of it is to insulate it that way. The con of it, it's more elections, which is more expensive, it's more of a headache. Obviously, the towns having to wait, is my representative or my town board member up for election this year or not? Whereas if they're just all in the same cycle, everybody knows, oh yeah, this is a year we're electing Hardinsburg town board members, makes it easier for the town to remember. So, so anyway, whenever you guys do, if the town elects to modify its procedure going forward, you can, as part of that, say you want to stagger the board and say that, hey, we're going to elect in 2027, we're going to elect people for a 3-year term. We're going to, in 2030, elect, just as a hypothetical here, we're going to elect one person for a 2-year term and 2 people for a 4-year term. And that way, one person is on and off cycle. You could theoretically do something like that if that's what the board felt like was the best thing to do. And then in 2032, you're going to basically have that one person in the midterm elections who then becomes on a 4-year term on the mid-years, if that makes sense.
So that would be something that like the board needs to vote on, of how we want to do that, to make that decision, like it needs to be.
Correct, yeah, you guys need to decide what you think is the best way to do that, and there's no right answer to it, it's just what do you think is the best fit for the town in terms of all of those logistics concerns, in terms of, are you worried about the confusion of the town, of having different people on different election cycles, the ease of having it all in one cycle, the cost to the county, because that's always going to be a fight with the clerk's office. Then is the clerk's office may come back and say, well, if you're going to make us stagger this, and instead of running you a town election every 4 years, you're making us run you a town election every 2 years. The clerk is going to send you a bill and say, hey, the town needs to help pony up some of the cost of this.
So financially and just for town residents, like the ease of it, it'd be better just so everyone would be on the same.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly the less confusion you add to it, the better it's going to be in terms of the logistics side of it. It's going to be cheaper on you. It's going to be easier for everybody to remember, hey, it's presidential year, I'm voting for my town.
Okay.
But if you think those other things outweigh that and it's worth the cost and the added headache of it, that's for this board to decide. I just want to make sure you guys understood that is an option you have and why it might be worth considering.
So, I have another question on that same line. Are you familiar with the new change this year that went into effect in July as far as people running for office having to open a committee, and if they get elected, it stays open until their term is up?
Yes.
And the penalties if they don't do it, that does not apply to us, does it?
I would have to double check that statute to see if it applies to town board members. Let me pull that up real quick and see. So basically, that's a campaign finance related issue. So anybody who is a candidate or an elected official has to have their campaign committee basically open at all times, whereas previously you could shut it down after your election and then not reopen
there's stiff penalties if you don't do it properly. So I'm gonna make sure we're looking, it's a maxes out at $1,000.
So it would require, if I remember correctly, there's an income requirement. It's elected officials that make $5,000 annually.
Under 5,000.
Oh, like if we are paying ourselves 5,000 annually, it's not if we make. Okay,
How
I'm like,
much you spend on it?
Oh.
So that's everybody.
How much you spend on your campaign also, whether it's over $500.
Correct, yes.
And if you take
I
one
think
more,
like we're advertising our money.
Like if we are running back the board and you get signs to put in people's yard, then that's money you spend on your campaign.
Over
Like,
$500
vote for
there.
Ashley, town board clerk.
Well, that doesn't add up.
Yeah.
and also if you take in more than $500 in
Donation or something.
Yep, that's why they bring
No,
it right now.
we don't have to discuss it now one more time.
Yeah.
I want to make sure that the address, so that we don't face penalties.
Do we have to open it right now?
It started in July 2020.
Okay, good. So we might want to get an answer.
Do we have any more? Laws?
You know what?
Anything else that's-
For Cory?
Yes.
Yeah, well, so if we're done, then we can.
The-
I think the whole like voting on our.
Yes, I'm scrolling through the statute, Hank, if you've got another question.
The annexation, voluntary annexation letter,
Mhm.
have you transferred?
The only changes I had to that were a couple of formatting ones. I thought I had emailed that to you, but if I did not, re-email it around to everybody just to be safe. Yeah, all I did was just kind of reformat it a little bit, just to give people a little extra room to write their address on it, but no, I thought that looked great. And then, just kind of a reminder for if we go through any super voluntary annexations like that, just because we're really having to deal with this in Paul Myra coming up right now, is to make, we gotta make absolutely sure the legal description is 100% correct. The issue we just had, there was the Boys and Girls Club in Paul Myra, we're working on annexing that into the town over there. And the attorney for the, property owners did not include she did an exhibit that had the legal description in words, and then she did a diagram of the property. The diagram is correct. The one that is the written legal description, which is the one that is legally binding, did not include the complete description. And it's very easy to understand exactly what happened. Somebody was just copying and pasting and forgot to copy a paragraph and paste it in right there. And because that didn't happen, we went through the entire process, made it through the town adopting the ordinance, and then we caught it when we turned it into the auditor, and so now we have to start the whole process over again, restarting the petition, redoing the fiscal study, redoing all the public hearings. So,
They're already doing, they're already moving.
yeah,
Look there, right there.
yeah, and so, like, yeah, and the county, or the town board gave them the authorization to go ahead and keep working while we fix the paperwork on this. But yeah, that was a fun thing to walk into and find out. I literally just received the town attorney about a week and a half ago and walked in and we discovered that, and I was like, please let me find some loophole and let me tell them we don't have to restart the annexation process. But no, that form went great. Literally the only changes I made was the box for them to write some of the information. I was like, that's probably a little too tiny for people, so I reformatted it slightly.
And in order for us to go out of that and say it's available for anybody who may be wanting to do that, if it's ready to go, we can maybe put the letterhead on it. So it's okay.
Do we have to, would that be something that the board's gonna vote on to allow that, or if somebody was like asked to annex, is that something the board then votes on to let them annex?
So if somebody wants to have an annexation, it depends on how they want to do it. If it's 100% of the property owners, they've got to fill out the petition, include all the necessary information. There's a statute that lays out all the information they have to have in there. So if they come and they fill out just that petition that Hank has started, that's a good way to put us on the notice they want to do that. We can then tell them, okay, we're now on notice, you want to do that, go. The best thing for them to do at that point is to go and get an attorney to assist them with the process. Because then their attorney can work with me to get the petition drafted with all the information it needs. We'll have to get a fiscal study done to determine whether or not annexing that property, how it affects tax rates, we don't have municipal utilities, thankfully, so that makes that a little bit easier. but see whether or not that impacts any significant tax rates or anything like that. Once we get the fiscal study back, then we have our public hearing on it. We do have to publish the ordinance in the newspaper one time, and then we don't.
And then I have one other question. Pretty sure you're familiar with Washington County ordinance that was recently passed for the subdivision property.
I have heard a little bit about it, but I've not seen it yet.
Okay. Then I will just put that bug in your ear and want to make sure that that ordinance doesn't affect anybody in the town. Or do we need to have our own ordinance?
Washington County.
I don't think, Washington County like building code, like,
It's not the one.
It's an ordinance related to homeowners associations, you
No,
said?
it's subdivision.
Or
property.
subdivisions, sorry.
Not subdivisions, it's dividing your property.
subdividing.
Subdividing.
It's
Gets confused with subdivisions.
Got it.
But they're basically saying you're not allowed, if you're gonna split your property, there's restrictions based on your acreage, how many you're able to split, and also the requirement to now have a survey or comment survey of the property. So basically, splitting your property, leave it to your heirs, that's been done in the past very frequently, is now hindered by having to have a official survey done and limiting how you can divide it.
Gotcha. I'll take a look at it and see whether or not, it only applies to property outside of, towns and things like that, or whether or not it would apply to anything inside of town.
Thank you.
Taking a look at that statutory amendment on the candidacy thing, an individual becomes a candidate when the individual, the candidates committee, or a person acting with consent of the individual receives more than $100 in contributions, makes more than $100 in expenditures, is required to file a written instrument, subject to campaign finance regulation, blah, blah, blah. So, let's just take a look here. So, just going through.
I have a question when you get a chance.
For me or for you?
For you.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead, I'm not too shabby.
Well, the annexation, can that be nullified by the owner in a future date, or does that set in stone for the remainder of, the owner's life or inheritance?
Once the annexation fully completes the process, they're in the town, and so, a remonstration action, which is the legal term for getting out of it, basically would have to be filed with the court to show it was done fraudulently, basically, so unless they can prove some act of fraud or something like that, they're in the town at that point.
Okay, one more thing, how about, is there a mandatory annexation?
Mandatory, as in like the town can do it against somebody's will?
Well, not necessarily, well, yeah, maybe, I mean, you know, if there's enough, in a certain area, there's so many people want to be annexed in, and there's some that don't want to be annexed in. And you can buy.
That, yeah, so yeah, you can have annexation where it's considered involuntary, where, less than 100% of the owners want to do it. So the owners that want to do it would petition, the owners that don't want to do it would, state their reasons for not. It would then be up to the town board to decide whether or not to grant or deny it. And then the ones who are dissenting have rights to challenge it in court at that point in time, and the judge would then determine whether or not the town board acted erroneously. But there's some pretty strict rules about what the judge's authority is there to overturn the town board's decision, because that's a separation of powers issue of making sure the judiciary doesn't step on the executive branch's toes in making those types of decisions.
I see.
Yeah.
So,
Thank you.
going back to your first question, if somebody is annexed into the town, there is no way for them to, leave the town if everything was done properly?
It can be done later, there's a process for it, but it's not just as simple as they say, I want out of the town, and they just snap their fingers and make it happen. Typically speaking, what has to happen is the town has to agree to the disannexation. And so that, there's a petition process for that. But for them to just say, well, I don't want to do this anymore, typically if they want to go file a remonstrance based on that, the court's going to look at that and say, well, were you defrauded into this, or you tricked into this in some way. Short of that, the annexation is going to go through because it's a valid act of local government, it's under the Home Rule Act.
But,
The Home Rule Act. Home Rule.
thank you, sorry.
Talking over it.
So. All right, here we go. The section applies, so the ones that are required to file, candidates for local office, if the compensation is less than $5,000 per year, you must file, not later than noon, 10 days after you receive more than $500 in contribution, or more than $500, or make more than $500 in expenditures, whichever occurs first. So, if you guys are not paying yourselves $5,000 for your town board service, and you don't either bring in $500 in campaign donations, or expend more than $500 out of your own pockets for your campaign, you would not be required to keep your committee open. But if either one of those applies,
I thought there was also one that followed right after that says if you make under $5,000, and pretty much everything else is the same.
if it's under $5,000, then there's still that 500, that limit of you have to either raise $500 or you have to spend $500. That's, if you make over $5,000, it's no question asked, you have to have your committee open.
Okay.
If you make under $5,000 for your position, you have to meet that $500 in donations or expenditures threshold.
Thank you very much. But that makes sense.
So, yeah, so either you or somebody else has to give you $500, or you or somebody else has to spend $500 on your behalf. If you check either of those boxes, you gotta have your campaign.
But not that this applies to us, but just so I can comprehend, you're saying if you make over 5,000, then you have to have it.
Correct. Yeah, so like for example, I'm running for judge in Floyd County, that makes well over $5,000. I will have to keep a candidates committee open the entire time if I'm elected as judge, for the entirety of the time I'm on the, instead of being able to close it after the election and only reopen it when I need to run for re-election. I'll have to keep that committee open and file campaign finance reports every single year I'm on the bench. County, and the big ones, really the bigger ones that I think they're looking at with that, because it's specifically mentioned in the legislation, is county council candidates, sheriff's candidates are another one people look at because of all the commissary funds and things that they have. But like I said, that's kind of where the line was drawn, was if your position pays you over $5,000, you have to keep it open, you have to file those reports every single year. If it's under 5,000 and you, then it's, if you make $500 in contributions or spend $500, you gotta file those reports so they can see what you're doing with that $500.
Thank you very much.
Anything else?
No.
I've got in my notes kind of as our top priority ones for me to start working on zoning, but that's gonna take, with the understanding that's gonna take us a little while because there's interagency things we gotta do. The ones that we can pass more quickly, sidewalk ordinance, zoning ordinance, vehicle ordinance, yard maintenance ordinance, and loose dog and animal ordinance. And then actually I took the picture of the entire sheet to go through the others as well, with those kind of being the more top priority ones. So, and then having to review the Washington County subdividing property ordinance that was passed to see whether or not it is going to apply within town limits.
Thank you.
Anything else y'all need from me? Do I fries and agree with that?
So any other new business, old business?
Oh, I might have a question. Okay, so, about the tree, the Christmas tree, we're gonna do like an advertisement for the street, and then businesses can buy an ornament, and then you put it on a tree, obviously, it'll be like where the community can see. But, like, the ornament would cost 20, 10 would go to the maker, 10 would go to the town. I just don't know how that goes. I don't know, is that something we can do?
That depends, is this part of the campaign?
Yeah, as long as it's going into the town's general fund, yes. Campaign, you have to file. No, I mean, that's absolutely something we could do, and just use that as a way to generate some additional money for the town. Not a improper at all. We just need to make sure we have, a line item on our general budget, on our budget fund for where we know that money's gonna go.
Okay.
And typically I would advise, just, as you guys are thinking about special projects like that, even just look at creating like a special projects fund, or if you know you're gonna have standing projects like, Christmas tree ordinance, just create your line on the budget for that.
Okay.
And then, so, on note with that, if we did that and then it was $20 for the ornament, $10's gonna go back to, community, $10's gonna go to the person that made that ornament. If we collect the whole $20, how do we show where 10 of it went in there and we paid out $10?
So you'll show the full 20 goes into the fund whenever we get paid, because we're obviously depositing all the money, and then you're gonna show all the expenditures out of that same line item fund as well, to then track it with receipts to who the respective, ornament makers were.
So would that come out of, if we just started it this year though, and we don't have anything budgeted in for that, but we take it in this year, are we able to pay it back out this year without it being budgeted?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. Yeah, that-
It's a general fund.
It would just go into the general fund. I'm just saying for the future, to make tracking on that a little bit easier for you guys for planning and accounting and things like that. I think, when we go forward with future budgets, if we know that's something we might want to do on an ongoing basis, having you aligned to track that will make your life a little bit better. But yeah, since everything will come in, you would just go, $20 in, and then $10 receipted to hang, $10 to them, $10 to them, $10 to them, $10, and then obviously the amount remaining in the fund at the end is how much you make off of it.
Okay.
So.
Is that something I can move forward with, or how is that?
I don't think we need to vote on that, falls under the kind of administrative thing, I think.
Okay.
Is that right?
Yeah, I think that would be fine to administratively move forward on at this point. It's not an ordinance, it's not a resolution, it's just an administrative kind of project for the town.
And there's no expenditure.
No.
And at this point, there's not an expenditure that the town needs to approve for that. If there was an expenditure, I think we would have to save it for a regular meeting, since this is a working meeting with no agenda.
This is regular.
This is.
Did we put it on for regular as
We
well?
made it for regular, so we didn't have to vote on anything.
Okay.
So, in that case, would you prefer just to vote on it, so that
Like a
there's
motion and then vote?
Belt and suspenders never hurts if you guys wanna, since this is on for a regular meeting, have somebody do a motion and.
I'll motion to approve the town's Christmas tree ornament purchasing power.
Is that the end of the title?
I know.
I second.
Take it to the vote, all in favor, aye. Pass.
And thanks for that clarification, because I don't know when we need.
Yeah, we're kind of confused.
Oh, no, I didn't realize we'd also noticed this for a regular meeting. I thought we were only on for a working meeting tonight.
Well, we changed it just so if you did bring something that we needed to vote on, then we would have capability of doing that, so.
Yeah, but yeah, basically something like that. Anytime you might potentially need, because perceivably you might need to expend a little bit of money, there's just probably best to have a record of what's taken to approve you spending money.
So the other thing that I want to mention, is the fire contract. Will we be reviewing an update to that, or was it just a slight administrative change?
You're talking about the one that we, did the other day? I don't remember needing any significant changes to it. I know they.
It was just the dates, the term, I think.
That one, yes. I have not had a chance to draft that yet, but I will add that to my notes to make sure that I get that over to them by the end of next week.
And me and you had discussed the issue with the contractor paying the fire department directly.
Yes,
and-
I've got to reach out to Posey Township on that one, just to make sure that they know that now that we've reinstated that contract, that the payment's not gonna be going to Posey Township anymore, that's gonna be going directly to, that any money we pay to the township, needs to be paid over on our behalf to the volunteer fire department, and that it's clarified that, we're making one payment or the other, but we're not paying both, so that we're not getting double dipped for that, so.
Yeah, and is that gonna cover us for, because when it comes like July of next year and they need payment and we don't have anything, we don't have that money coming in this year, we're not collecting any taxes for fire protection right now, so when we get to that point, all the taxes that the town's paying is going to township fire.
Then, yeah, and that's basically what we need to work out with Posey, and that'll be just a short little interlocal agreement between us and Posey Township, that the money collected there will be paid over there to satisfy this contract. And then once we pass our tax rate to take that over, rather than just having it taken straight out of Westford Township is how that'll get assumed. Because that's how it looks like based on the reports on Gateway was done before, was that we just paid directly to the fire department rather than have the township take it out of our money.
Yeah.
So, and that's a pretty easy interlocal agreement between us and Posey Township.
Sounds good. We open to the floor now?
Oh, no, there's one other.
Wait, okay, one of
The outdoor movie night, we received an updated bid for December sixth, showing Elf for $150. They do everything.
they do everything.
What was it? How did that happen? How did it jump?
So this company, did their first outdoor movie night, no magic here. I'm not involved with what they provided, they just came out of the blue and
I know.
updated their proposal after they did their first movie night in Salem. So my expectation is that they had, a better revenue stream based on their add-ons, like their food and all that, that allows them to do the movie for $150, provided that we allow them to do advertising, sponsors, and their food,
Their concessions.
their concessions.
I mean, I think that's a pretty good deal.
So the only thing that I would, propose we talk about, maybe we don't need to vote on it tonight. I would like to get them on their schedule, because they are,
December sixth is coming up.
and the other thing is just checking our insurance to see what additional cost we would have to have that.
So talking to our insurance guy, he said if we did any kind of event like that, then basically they would just add on like that additional insurance just for that one day. And he said it's not gonna be like nothing hardly,
Okay.
just to add in, like just to cover for one event. So.
Additional insurance. Okay.
So do we need a motion to?
That's gonna be an expenditure, yes.
That's, but. Okay, where does that come from though?
$150,
Yeah,
probably sponsors.
that's what I.
The expense to the town, I don't know if the town's in a position to spend $150.
Yeah.
It sounds minimal, but if you
It
don't have a
does.
budget, that's also minimal, so
So if we make a motion to approve this based on
contingent on receiving a sponsor.
receiving sponsorship.
Yeah, and you certainly can attach contingencies like that to any of your votes, so that way if the contingency is not satisfied, it's not approved, and the town doesn't have to expend the money.
Okay. So I'll motion for that then. So a motion to approve this with the contingency of getting sponsorships to cover that cost. And take the vote, all in favor, aye.
That's all I have. Yeah, just a reminder, I guess I'll throw it out there because it's on the live stream and everything. Reads Across America is alive and well. We are doing fundraising. Information is being put out. The cost is $17 to sponsor a wreath. If you want to start a sponsorship group, there's a program within Reason of America where you get to choose what to do with $5 of that wreath. So potentially reduces the cost of the wreath to $12. And that $5 could either fund additional wreaths. It can go back to your sponsorship group for next year, more fundraising, or you can choose to donate it to Reads Across America to cover their overhead. So currently we are up to 3 wreaths sponsored for the cemetery. We've identified 160 veterans that we're trying to cover at least 50%. And recently the Lions Club has been our first organization to reach out to sponsor, and it looks like that'll be favorable. We're going to be reaching out to other businesses in the area as well to see what sponsorships they may like to do. So if you spread the word out there, just make sure when anybody goes to Reads Across America, they go to the INHRBG. So it's the Hardinsburg Cemetery. If you go to your map, just like Hardinsburg Cemetery, we're the only one around within probably 40 miles that's doing Reads Across America.
I think it's us and the National Cemetery in New Albany are the only two, literally within about 50, 60 miles here.
Oh. I missed the part. You create a sponsor group?
Through the Reads America website, you can create a sponsor group. So if your organization that you have wants to be a sponsor, it creates their own sponsor group within the Reads America
Oh,
site.
okay.
But individuals can just go on to
Yeah,
and do a read.
yeah.
Yeah.
So then
And you
have-
can also do grave specific. So this is my proposal. If anybody wants to do a grave specific wreath and they want to take it to another cemetery that was mentioned within the town to lay a wreath there, prior to doing that, please coordinate with whoever's managing that cemetery to make sure that it's all right with them for you to lay a wreath that size, because they are substantial in their cemetery. And once you get that approved, if you do a by name request for your wreath, the wreath will show up at the Hardinsburg Cemetery, and you can pick it up there and then go take it to the other cemetery. So that's our way to work around just sponsoring Hardinsburg Cemetery, yet being able to take them to the surrounding cemeteries.
Oh, that's good. Does it come with like a name tag or?
It will, well, we'll be notified, the individual wreaths, all the wreaths are the same. So we'll just be notified that you're coming to pick up
Oh,
for this person is picking up for this,
Okay.
person, and we will deliver the wreath to them.
Because the wreath won't be personalized.
No.
Is what I.
That's
what
what I
No.
thought, yeah.
Whatever you want to do to it.
Yeah.
Personalize it, but yeah.
Okay, so we need 157 wreaths, that's our goal right now, because we got 30.
If we, yes, I
I mean,
mean,
50% is what we're trying.
our goal is
Our
80.
goal is all.
Yeah, our goal.
So we have 157.
I like Ashley's way of saying it.
I love it.
So,
Does anybody have any questions, more questions on that? If you do, if you're thinking of them, just reach out. We're still learning as we go, so bear with us.
Okay, so, everybody's good now?
Yes, thank you.
Gonna open the floor to comment. Anybody got a comment, concern, or question?
Wanda? You want to speak?
No, I want you to speak.
Okay.
All right, so the senior citizens have taken a vote to vacate the building. And we'll take our stuff with us when we go. You should have a list of items that belong to the seniors.
yeah, I believe you provided that the first meeting when we got the town government go back together again.
Okay, so, I mean, it was my intent to work with you guys and try to be able to share the building. But there was an oversight last week. Well, not last week, probably the week before last, the week of Halloween. Our president had to call and cancel our bingo and failed to notify the town. That was an oversight. It was not intentional, but she received a message after that.
She
that
did
says-
notify the town.
I did vote, yeah, I
She
did
did
vote
notify
last week.
So it says, "It is regrettable that due to the severe lack of communication, seniors in your organization missed out on access to a vital resource in the future. It is in the senior organization's best interest to properly communicate with the town board as your organization's unencumbered access to the community center is a privilege and not a right. The town's support of the organization lies in its belief in supporting and helping every senior in the community, not help bolster the self-importance of certain leadership members of the senior organization." That was not the intent at all.
She had no idea.
I've talked to her multiple times, and
Yeah.
I've explained everything to her. We've had discussion after discussion, and I fully understand that it's
But
not her.
you also need to understand that email was not very professional, right?
So that email doesn't just stem from the cancellation of bingo after, I don't know who was at the meeting when Pam was in here and we explained to Pam that, hey, with Todd Dickey, we are having Hoosier Uplands come in to offer service to any seniors that might need help with their Medicaid enrollment if they've got questions. The guy was just at a table back in the back of the room, so if any seniors needed help with it, we set that up to do that.
Was that at the last meeting that you had with the seniors?
No, it was
Okay.
before that.
I was here.
I know you were here.
What?
And
What, I
as
watched all
far as I know,
We're gonna give him one
Hold
second.
on.
as far as I know, you told me we was trying to get up here. We never got no date.
Yeah.
You posted it the next day.
The next day I posted
Yes.
it, so everyone
Okay.
knew that he was.
We
gonna
will
be
get
here.
that straight.
Okay, well, regardless, that email doesn't just stem from that. So, every single meeting that we've held here and have addressed the senior organization, every single meeting, we've said the same exact thing. What our purpose is, what we want to do, what we want to happen. We've, beat it into the ground about the kind of relationship that we want to have with the senior organization.
Yeah.
And we stand by that.
Uh-huh.
No one was getting kicked out, no one was getting sent anywhere. There are issues within the organization that need to be addressed.
There are issues, I understand that.
Okay.
But on that same token, you said that you wanted to work with us, that we would, it was an oversight on our president's part.
And that's what I'm saying, it's not fully regarding the bingo night.
But in that same token, it says, if you don't play nice, we're gonna yank the rug out from under you.
No.
So which means, we're gonna throw you out.
No.
That's
That's not what
basically
it
what
says.
that said to me. When I read that, that is exactly what that said.
It might be what it said to you, and the problem is that, and I spoke to you on the phone about this. The problem is that a lot of the senior organization is getting their information from a single person, and you
I
say
just
what-
read verbatim.
You can
That's
say
not,
what-
that's not a single person.
I understand, but you can say what you want to, but I've sat in this room and had meeting after meeting with different members come into this building that's never been here before, never been to a meeting. They come in here super frustrated at us. We're kicking you out, we're taking over, we're doing this, we're doing that, and then when they actually sit here and have a conversation with us and we explain what it is that we want to do for the seniors, it seems like every time their mood changes. But it seems like someone is going out there and telling people what they want to tell them about this board. I mean, we've been over backwards for you guys.
Whether that's water under the bridge. I defended you wholeheartedly.
I also.
All the way
think
to
you
the
guys
end.
a lot.
But this,
But I don't
that
understand.
just says,
No, it doesn't, and that's the
Yeah,
problem.
that is what it
The problem
says.
is that you guys held a meeting and you jumped to a conclusion and you took a vote, which removed you from this building that you have free reign to use before.
that doesn't say we have free reign.
Before you came in here and sat down and had a conversation with us. That's why the following email, following that one, I said we would like to sit down with the senior organization so that instead of going back and forth in emails and people trying to understand what's going on, we could sit down and have a conversation and explain to you guys. And then you held a meeting and you voted to remove yourselves from this building. We didn't remove you from this building. You guys voted and removed yourselves from this building.
We did,
Yeah.
because we
I
felt
know.
that it's not our building.
The problem is that you guys, after your last meeting with the seniors, where it was both seniors,
Mhm.
everybody came out of that feeling pretty good, you know?
Yeah,
I rewatched the live stream of it and everything. So as far as like with her, I don't know about some of the other members, but you guys have been doing pretty good as far as
Thank you.
working together.
That's what we're trying to do.
However, in this email, what else could possibly be inferred other than
We're gonna kick
we
you
can
out.
take this away at any time if we don't like these small misunderstandings.
It's not small misunderstandings, it's misunderstandings that take place over and over and over again because one member of your senior organization keeps going out and telling everybody else how horrible we are, and then we have to deal with the backlash from that. No matter what we come in here, how many meetings we hold, and how many times we explain it, it leaves here and it completely gets twisted. And then we have to deal with the backlash from other seniors that have never came and spoke to us, never sat down and have a conversation with us, but they come in here, chew into us like we're taking this building away, and we've done it over and over and over again. So yes, the stipulation was, management needs to change, because there's no working relationship when you've got people that are not willing to understand what we're trying to do and see the positive side of it, when they keep going out and just spreading the negativity to everyone else out there, and then we are the ones that get the backlash for it. So,
I didn't
yes,
spread
Well, that-
negativity to anyone.
and I
That
never
is-
said you did.
That is not there in the email at all. This was, the context leading up to the email was simply about the bingo.
Yeah, I
And again,
understand.
she had no idea, and yet it also, my big issue with the email is that there's a personal insult towards two members at the end.
Yes.
Her, who did nothing wrong, she had no idea.
Not toward her.
Who were the two members? Who you
They weren't
used-
identified, you
used
just said it was
plural.
towards two members.
Said two
You used-
members, so.
You used members plural, so I know it wasn't just Pam. And this was directly after an email where she said that, yes, she and Pam canceled the bingo because they wouldn't be available, which meant that all 5 members of the seniors who had a key, who couldn't unlock, to come unlock the building, wouldn't be available.
But I've
But they
already,
had no, well, she had no idea that you guys would already be here, or they wouldn't have had to cancel bingo.
yeah, and.
That is a
and-
miscommunication within their
and Tammy
organization.
Cagle told them that she could still hold bingo and that she could have someone let her into the building.
Now, that was after she had already called all their regulars and told them that bingo was canceled, and it was late.
And I understand that, and I've talked to her. about
I
this.
also reminded her.
Me and her,
Yeah.
we're fine,
I-
like.
So
But
you
she
just-
got caught in the crossfire.
so
I told her, I appreciate her, I appreciate.
I would like an
everything she's
apology
done.
for her specifically.
Okay, and I apologize that you took it that way. I'm not gonna apologize for the email, because we stand firm on what that email said.
You stand
I
firm on
apologize to
insulting
you
them?
for taking it that way and thinking that it was directed toward you. I do apologize. You've done everything you could. You've been understanding. I told you this on the phone today. We talked for 45 minutes. I appreciate you. I appreciate everything you've done, trying to work with us. I hate that you guys are leaving. I hate that decision was made. And like I said, I think that it's gonna be a regrettable decision. I mean, you had a place here, no bills to pay, didn't have to pay rent. First ones to use it whenever you wanted to, you had first dibs on the building. Like, we set all this in place to cover you guys, to take care of you, to ensure that you had a place to come and use. And every time we do this, and we're trying to basically give as much as we can to you, and I don't know what more we could do, but every time we do one of these meetings, somehow people leave this meeting, and then we have other seniors that are coming to us, and it's like they're getting information that is completely nothing that we ever
I
said.
mean, there are all kinds of rumors all over the place.
And I
Which
understand.
is why, like, remember when she had to write a letter that said that Pam was allowed to even attend the meetings because there was rumors going around that you guys were gonna sue. And I know that's bullshit.
And that's,
But-
this is
but
what I'm
they don't
saying,
know.
is we didn't ask Pam to write a letter for Pam to be able to come in here and talk to us. Pam just randomly showed up and handed us a letter.
I know, I was there when she decided that there needed to be a letter. And there was somebody else at that meeting that wanted it notarized. Like, I know that there's no way that her coming to a meeting, a public meeting, she lives here, I mean, somebody from California could come in here right now to a public meeting.
I mean,
I know that there was nothing illegal about that, but they didn't understand that, they were just scared.
and I understand, but how many times does representation of your senior organization have to come in here and sit and hear us say the same exact thing over and over again? We put a proclamation in
Well,
place.
you were building trust. And you were,
And does that mean took that
on both parts.
Okay, so
You
but
working
where
together.
are y'all building trust in your relationship with us? Because every time we've extended the olive branch to your organization, somehow you leave here and we've got 10 other seniors that come in and are at our throats every time they come in here because they're getting misinformation. So where is it that you guys are going out and you guys are telling your organization and the seniors involved what a great job we're doing and how helpful we're being to the senior
Well,
organization?
she just said she defended you.
To who? Because I've yet to see anyone come in here and praise us for
Well, some of them
for what we're offering and what
For
we're
lack of a
trying to
better
do.
word, obstinate, and they're never going to like you.
Okay,
And that's just how
fine.
that's gonna
Well,
be.
and that's what I'm saying, if there's gonna be a working relationship here
Yeah.
where we're all on good standing,
Yeah,
then things need to change. And it
So-
doesn't need to change over here, because we're fine. We've put in place what we're willing to do and what our stance is on this. That side of the table is what needs to be addressed.
okay. But as far as that email goes,
I asked,
nothing,
I asked that the email be explained. It was never explained.
she didn't understand.
And I didn't want, and I know you did, and that's why I asked you, would you guys be able to meet again so that we could sit down and we could have a conversation about it and it be explained? And then we scheduled this meeting for tonight. Shortly after that,
For her, that's scary.
I understand it's scarier, but we've made a statement and we've stood firm on that statement every single, like, if we were gonna change something,
But
we've
that's-
Their
had,
email implied that you were.
That didn't make any sense to me, and I wanted it explained, and nobody explained it.
and that's why we wanted to sit down in person and explain it, because we don't
Yeah,
wanna
but
go back and forth and email.
That's been a while.
Yeah, and that's why we set this date for the meeting, to have you guys here. And we worked with you on a date that would work for everybody, so that you could have potentially as many members as you could here, so that we could sit down, explain our stance one more time, like, explain where we stand, what we wanted to do, like, none of that's ever changed. We have not changed our stance on the senior organization.
Well, I
and
said
the
I
seniors.
didn't think there'd be but 2 here, but there's 4.
Yeah, and that's why we wanted to have a meeting with you, was so that we could sit down, have a conversation, like, and I told you on the phone, I said that the making you guys leave this building has never been on the table, and we've explained that over and over again. We've told you that, we've stuck by it, no matter how many people come in here and are at our throats at every meeting, from the senior organization, questioning us, asking us the same stuff over and over, we have yet to change where we stand on that subject.
And that hadn't happened in a while.
It just happened the last time the senior organization came here, when a bunch of the members came, and I don't think you were here.
I wasn't, but I did watch that meeting, and like, you know, when she came home from that, she was like, I think it ended really well, everybody feels a lot better. And since then,
Yes.
you haven't been questioned or attacked or anything,
No.
since then.
No, not by multiple members, no.
Who individually?
But let me say, the deal with the email not being explained, and then we had our regular meeting, the 11th, a couple days ago. And the people that was there I think interpreted it different ways, and they were all unhappy.
Well, that's when, as a board and as, I think it's, I'm trying to word this where nobody gets offended, but as a board, it should have been said that decision, instead of in the moment, based on a bunch of different interpretations of an email, and a decision that was made, that is, I mean, that's a pretty big decision. Somebody should have tabled that, and then this meeting right here should have happened, and then you should have made your decision on, we're leaving for good, because I just don't understand, I don't know where you're gonna go, I don't know what you're gonna do, you had the perfect situation where you were right here, and all we asked for was
Respect.
a little respect, a little grace, like, give us time to get everything sorted. We've asked that over and over again, and yet members of your board keep going out and spreading misinformation about this board, about this town, about what we're gonna do, how we're gonna treat you. It's over and over and over again, and now it's gotten in everybody's ear. Everybody read the email, took it wrong, was mad, had a meeting, and made a decision that is extremely
All you had
unfortunate.
done was explained it.
And that's what this meeting was for.
No, before, but I asked right after the
And we
email.
made the decision as a board that we wanted to have a sit-down, in-person conversation with your committee, with your organization, because we felt like it would be better face-to-face to have a conversation about everything that's been going on. There's no way we could get this much stuff across through email and everybody understand it either. We wanted to have a sit-down conversation with you guys, like adults, like we are, to just hash it out and get our concerns out there. And then you could have easily had a meeting after that, and if you wanted to make that decision, you could have.
But we would have had to have a meeting like you're talking about before our regular meeting, which was the 11th.
Well, I understand, but we have meetings too, and there's decisions that can be tabled until you have a following meeting. That should have been tabled. There should have been no jumping to conclusion and especially making a decision like that in the manner that it was made, without coming in here and having a conversation with us. And that's why we scheduled this meeting. We scheduled it for him to come in here, and we scheduled it for you guys, and this was the only thing that this meeting was gonna address. And that's why we wanted to do that, was to sit down with you guys. And, I don't, it's just
So versus
unfortunate.
sending the email that was misconstrued, why don't we just call a meeting? If that was the intent, why don't we just call a meeting?
Well, that's what we called.
Now, we
it.
sent the email that's got everybody up in the air, and then we wanna call a meeting because everybody's up in the air. Why don't we just have the meeting and then just
Yeah,
say,
everything.
and have that discussion at that meeting versus sending out the email to be misconstrued by everybody and their brother?
Water under the bridge.
Yeah, I mean, the email came out, I'm sorry that it was miscommunicated or misunderstood.
I don't think it was misunderstood.
I don't think it was misunderstood.
I
I
said
think
that's
that
fine.
was the
Let's
intent.
stop talking about the
That's
email.
fine, that's fine.
No,
It's
no,
not
no.
misunderstood, you made your
I
decision.
sent that email because when she showed it to me, because she didn't understand it,
Mhm.
I was pissed. But I also understand that I'm biased and I was emotional.
Yeah.
I sent it to several other people that I know. For some people, I didn't, exactly redact because they would have figured out what I was talking about anyway, but to other people, I redacted information. And I sent it to men and women, lots of people I know, some people who are friends, some people who I fundamentally disagree with on a lot of things. And I asked them, is this unprofessional? And they all said the same thing, which was, yeah, it's borderline up until a point, but that last part where you insult them is specifically unprofessional. You can't be talking to
I
people
don't know
like
if
that.
I insulted someone.
And I think you should just not make a habit of talking to people. It just reflects poorly on the town.
I
And
don't,
it was
I don't
me.
know if you could pull up the email and tell me where we threw an insult at someone or insulted someone other than stating
Well, you
facts.
can wrap it up in corporate email language all you want, but I also speak email, and so do all those people.
That's fine, I mean,
The town supported the organization, lies in its belief in supporting and helping every senior in the community, great, comma, not to help bolster the self-importance of certain leadership members of the senior organization. That is an insult, that is an attack on their character, especially given the context of the emails before it, which was, you're basically implying that she and Pam basically were like, hey, we're not gonna be at bingo, so nobody gets bingo.
I think you're wrong in saying that's the implication that he was making. That's your interpretation you're making.
What else
of
could
her
be
meeting.
inferred?
I'm sorry?
What else could be inferred?
A world of things. It's just two different realities. The message being sent unclear, and the message being received and interpreted improperly.
So you're not telling me what else could be inferred?
I'm
You're
not
telling
going,
me
I'm not
what's
gonna, I mean, this is water under the bridge. We're not gonna beat up an email. Maybe it was a mistake, maybe it wasn't. Was it misinterpreted?
It was a-
Obviously,
it was
because
a
we're here.
mistake.
I think it's pretty clear. I think you should refrain from speaking like that in the future to anybody else who you have
Fair
to
enough.
communicate with.
I mean,
I think is unprofessional. It won't get you what.
I don't think we're gonna agree on that. And
I don't, yeah,
to move forward, let's move forward.
yeah, I don't know, I mean,
I
The
don't know
email
what
said
he-
what the email
I don't know
said.
what this gentleman thinks of it, but two of the people that she talked to were lawyers,
That is true.
she has
Okay.
friends,
Yeah.
and they said the same thing.
Every lawyer has their own opinion.
Mhm.
Well,
I
they
mean,
both said
I don't know
the
what
same
you're fishing for when you're sending it out to that many people to
I'm
have
sending
them,
it to people
have
who
them
speak
tell you
email.
what you should think about it.
I mean, I don't.
I asked if it was unprofessional.
I asked you guys to send me
But that's what started the problem.
a simple word,
Was email.
explanation, because it
Yeah.
didn't make sense to me. It didn't happen. So she got to asking some people, what do you think it means? Because I had no idea what it meant.
Well, what she should have done was wait till tonight and then ask us,
Well, you still haven't told me,
and that's, I mean,
is the thing.
I stand by the email.
And I'm disappointed in that. I was really disappointed to find out that
That's
it's
fine.
all four of you
Email, but you haven't-
that stipulated that event together.
That's perfect.
All right.
Some of us have got doctor appointments, we've got schedules, we've got to go by.
Mm-hmm.
We have to make sure that it's in this area to make a meeting with you.
Yeah.
I can't tell my doctor that I ain't coming, and he'll throw me back 3 months.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah, I just get the plan.
I corresponded with Rhonda about a date that would work for both of us, and this is the date that was set, because she said this was the date that most members would be able to be here, so that's why we set this date.
No,
Well,
I said a couple of them, probably only two, but it turned out there's four.
So, I mean, I don't know what.
The only thing I'll add, since you asked kind of what my thoughts were on the thing, I haven't been privy to most of these conversations. I will defer to my board on this one, because I think this isn't really a legal issue for me to dive into. What I will just kind of say going forward is I do think, regardless of what may be in this particular email, I think the board has tried its best to put out there that they want to have a healthy working relationship with the seniors. That's obviously not where you guys feel like we're at right now. I hope whatever decisions you guys have made for today, that going forward, you know that the board is open to revisiting that conversation, that you know that, you know, the heritage of this building is that this was a partnership between the town and the seniors, that this was, you know, the whole point of this board, when it got instituted this year, having me look into that and figure it out, because we wanted a clear answer of who owned this building, what happened there, and making sure that that heritage was honored in some way. If the legal ownership wasn't there, that it was honored in some way. And the whole point of them wanting to put the rules and regulations in place about the seniors having first dibs on the building was to want to try to honor that. Obviously, there have been hurt feelings there, and that's very regrettable. I guess the only thing I would just add is I hope that after tonight, because I don't think we're gonna mend the fence tonight. After tonight, everybody can sleep on this, everybody can hopefully let this be water under the bridge, and we can get to a point where we can get back to a better spot, because this is a building that the seniors have put a lot of time and a lot of memories into. And it has been this board's intent for the seniors to continue to build memories here, because you're an important part of the town. And I think this board, while the senior organization may have voted that you all want to move out of here, there's been no official action by this board to say, cool, get out of here. So I think this board is still very open to you guys coming back into the building at the point you want to come back in. So I hope that you know that you're walking yourselves out of here. We respect that that's your decision. Obviously, the board has its feelings on that. The door will be back open to you if you want to come back in.
The conversation
Yeah.
will be open.
Yeah, the conversation to have that door for that conversation is always open. Obviously, the board's gonna, you know, if you're not here, they're going to let other people have access to the building, do whatever they feel. But that door for you guys to come back and have that conversation and hopefully resume some type of relationship, that door is open to have that conversation. And if the opportunity is there to kind of pick up where we left off, I think that's something that this board is not slamming the door on tonight.
Any other comments, concerns?
No, but we do have the list of items in the building, but most of that list is not here.
A lot of stuff's already been taken from the building.
So just wanted, I'm sure you know.
A lot of stuff, they came in, donated some stuff, they came in, moved some stuff out. So,
I mean, as long as you guys are comfortable with the fact that, I mean, yeah, we've got it technically, but I mean, I kind of,
yeah, we just wanted to make sure
Just
that it's
clarify that.
aware
there are
that things
things
have
not
been
on the
taken out,
list, So
so-
just as long as we are.
we face that a little bit too.
I think about everything in your garden.
No, that's not what she's saying, Alvin.
I've been saying.
No, that's not what she's saying at all.
She's saying that there's still, like, it's common
The stuff
sense,
that's
it's
in
what
there,
belongs to the
yes.
center and the
Yes.
seniors, and
Just tell me like you said.
there shouldn't
We
be.
was putting this stuff out.
Yeah, well, you're going to. You're
I'm
planning on
going
it,
to,
yeah.
You did.
No, we're saying that like some stuff was moved out already,
Yeah.
so the list we
We had
have
the
will.
meetings, I even had, well, I don't have them with me, but I even had, at the meetings we talked, we would give, we had so much stuff
What she's saying is.
that we were gonna
We've already
donate.
stuff out.
Mhm.
And we have.
We're not
Oh,
saying.
but like.
We're just saying that there are stuff, because we don't care where it goes.
No,
We're just
we
saying
just-
like,
we just
since,
wanted to
since
be-
Haas has been there.
A lot of stuff is already done.
We just wanted you to be aware that
I don't know.
If we go and check off the
the
market
original
list,
list,
There's a few things
there's
that we
things
checked
that are
off
already
already.
taken,
Yeah.
so, like, some of the cookware in the kitchen, you know, obviously the mugs and stuff we're taking and donating. We
we're
do that.
basically saying like, we don't want someone to be like, hey, where's the
Yeah, they'll
12
just,
mugs?
they already know that.
Okay.
And, yeah,
Yeah,
and
we
so
just
we'd be
wanted
like,
to be
we don't
aware of
know.
that, so.
We didn't do
I
anything.
remember, we had so many bowls, we donated a majority of the bowls.
Mhm.
Yeah, but you know where they went, so you're not gonna go in there and say, where are our bowls?
Yeah.
Right.
And,
Town board stole our votes.
games,
Yeah.
we had so many games and puzzles that we never used anymore.
Yeah.
We donated those, I'm trying to even think of what there was, but anyway.
But you know where it is.
But some of the stuff that you might think is gone is actually in
Store.
the building.
In storage.
It's still in the building, but,
Yeah, we were just making sure that you guys were aware of that, so.
yes.
We didn't want to.
We had so much stuff and we didn't use near all of it, so we donated.
Yeah, that's fine, we just wanted to make sure you were aware of that, so.
Only other thing I was gonna ask is, why don't you send me an updated copy of the budget, just because I know I need to get my year-end bill for you guys in for this year's budget year, and that way I just make sure I don't discount anything down. I don't think I'm gonna be over anything anyway, but I just want to make sure to line it up to the budget, just on the off chance that I am over, I get it down below whatever the budget line is.
Yeah. Anything else?
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
It's not about, I wanna know about the fire department.
Yeah.
Is the fire truck still there, or is it back down here?
There is a fire truck, 333.
Because on this end of town, and even up in the country, I don't live in town, but I live in Posey Township.
Mm-hmm.
We need, something closer
Yeah.
than way out there on Radcliffe Road.
Yeah, sir.
And that was part of the agreement in the contract that we signed at the last, town board meeting, was that they would have one here in town. So yeah, that's gonna be an ongoing, which building did we end up putting that in?
333.
Okay.
It's been here for about 2 weeks now.
So,
Which building?
The big, the
The
blue
333.
where it used to be, it's back
That's
in
the
that.
big
building, yeah.
did they just end up putting just a couple space heaters in there for the heating issue, or what did they do?
The one phase, the power had gone fused, we got an electric company, Twisted Electric, to come out and they swapped the fuse for us. Everything came back on. There's one heater that's not working, but the one that is doing fine, so we're good. We
Just
don't-
in the bay, not in the whole building, right?
Yeah, just the day.
Yeah, because they just needed enough, basically, to keep the truck warm enough.
So that the pumps don't. freeze.
Correct, yeah.
And I know that, you know, I have nothing to do with the town. But I've lived here for 41 years, and I have a lot of memories of this building. I hate to let it go.
And
We're not,
we hate
that's
that you
not our
guys-
decision.
Yeah, you guys.
You're welcome here all the time. You
You're
came
welcome
here for
here.
Big Bear the other night, I hope you had a good time.
Yeah, you're here.
We're gonna continue, please keep showing up.
There's no reason you shouldn't be able to be in this building.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's what, you know, we've made perfectly clear, and,
More memories will be made here.
yeah, at the end of the day, it was not our decision for you guys to leave this building. So, and we want you to know that, you know.
And you're not the only one, thank you for speaking up, there's a lot of other people out there that don't come to these meetings that are in the same spot.
Yeah, and
We don't wanna change that.
it's a shame, and that's what I told you on the phone, is, you know, it's horrible. I think personally, not from a board standpoint, I think personally, like, it's a mistake that they decided to walk away from this, because you had, I think that the opportunity you had here, you're not gonna find somewhere else. You've been here for this long, we made it accessible to you for free. No overhead cost for the senior organization anymore, no utilities, no maintenance, nothing. You were basically getting to do everything you were getting to do in the past, you just didn't have any of that overhead. We took that from you, so that you weren't burdened with that.
But you know, I watched, we had our Thanksgiving and Christmas dinners down here. You know, I've watched my grandkids grow up, you know, running in and out, playing, and
and there's no reason you should be somewhere else.
But when somebody complains that the cost of the building is too high, when the cost is free, there's nothing else we can do. We're not gonna pay people to come here.
Yeah, I mean, because that, I mean, that,
People were complaining that the seniors were having to pay to be here when it's free.
I haven't heard that at all.
No.
Yeah, it was on
That's
Facebook.
what-
That's
I
what-
don't know
That's
where
what
people are
everybody
hearing
said.
No,
that.
I'm still simply talking about Thanksgiving for Pam's family.
Yes.
Who said that she can't afford to use this space
on
for
Facebook.
the ongoing Thanksgiving thing that she does.
And I told her at the meeting, to her face, I said, I've already told you over and over, I said, anything you're doing in this building as a senior that's benefiting the community, because you guys give out free meals to them, I told her, you do not have to pay to use this building ever.
This was for
There's
my.
nothing else we can
family.
do. I mean, beyond, there's nothing else we can do.
Your
That's
family.
My thing.
I always
That's what I'm
thought,
saying.
up until just a few
That's
months ago,
right.
So is the
I always
building free
thought
for me?
that
Is that
the.
what you're saying?
What?
Pam's the one that
No,
made
this
the
is
post.
my family. Is it free for me? Is that what you're saying?
Or is it benefiting the community?
No, it's for my family.
Okay, then no, it's not
Then
free.
that's where the problem was.
Okay. And that's where you gotta understand miscommunication, because Pam put it on the internet, on Facebook, saying that her family Thanksgiving,
She's my family.
okay.
But she
But
said
does
she opens it to
she
the
said she
community.
opens it to the
No, no.
community, is what she
This is
told us.
our family Thanksgiving.
Okay, but every time I've asked her.
That's not how it was
She
presented.
said that she opens it to the community and they offer.
have
meals.
another-
The senior citizens do a Thanksgiving dinner that is
Okay.
open
We
to
do it
the
ourselves.
community on Thanksgiving.
Pam specifically told me that
Yes.
her family does Thanksgiving and opens it and gives out meals to the public.
Yes.
That's
That-
We
exactly
do do
what she
that, because
told
we do
me.
that, we are family.
Yeah, but that is not the senior citizens corporation.
No.
Yes, that
No.
is, she does that herself.
That is
But-
a Pam only thing.
That
That
is
is
That's
not.
the
Yeah.
family thing.
But,
What's her
But
name?
this was our family dinner.
okay, and she did not say those were separate. She told us that your family Thanksgiving, you guys hand out meals to the public, and I said, yes, you can
Two
use it
different
for
animals.
free. I said, that's completely free to use.
So we're clear.
It's a dog and a
So
cat.
we're clear. If it's for
We are
your
clear.
family,
It is
you're
my
gonna pay.
family.
They're a
if
week
there's a
late.
fee.
Yes.
If you do something for the community, present it to the board,
Yeah.
and a decision to be made to waive the fee.
Yeah, and the way she presented it was that you open it up to give
She
people
does
free
do
meals.
that.
Okay.
They make a Thanksgiving meal. Mom comes down and helps with it. I
Yes.
came and helped with it. Other people have came and helped with it. It's just, that's a thing that they do for people who don't have anywhere to go on Thanksgiving.
And that's what, and see, she didn't tell us that there were separate events.
There are
She
two
just
different
made them
events,
sound,
yes.
she made them seem like the same thing, and that we were gonna charge her to do that. And I told her.
I mean, we do it ourselves.
Yeah, and I told you that.
We furnish everything ourselves.
And I told you that the building would be free to use, so, is what I told you.
Okay.
Because you guys were benefiting the community, you were handing out meals, it was benefiting people here. I told you the use of this or that was completely free, you didn't have to worry
That's
about
true.
the charge.
The other woman that was on the board, she said she didn't care if it was you, me, or who. If it wasn't Bob for the senior citizens or something made it in, we had to pay. Now, did she not or not?
Who?
Alex,
I don't know.
that's what she said that night. It goes for the board members and us.
Yeah,
If it's a family,
yes, if I want to come down here and do a birthday party for my daughter, then I have to pay to rent the building just like everybody else does.
Yeah.
I mean, that's,
well,
I
we're
don't-
doing this for ourselves.
okay,
Yeah.
so that's what we're
So,
trying.
so, yeah.
But we're doing it for the community, but we're doing it for by ourselves.
Okay, but
Yeah.
you're giving meals out to the community, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so then it would be free.
Yeah, she said, anybody wasn't, it wasn't related to senior citizens, that they had to pay. That's what Alex said up there.
I think
She
where
said
the,
it didn't even go to board members or anybody, they had to pay.
well, I think where the misunderstanding is coming in at, if it is a purely personal event, so if it's just for your friends and family, you're gonna, whether it's a board member, whether it's a community member, whether it's a
Yeah.
senior citizen, whether it's somebody from 5 counties, what, they're gonna have to pay. If it is something that benefits the community, again, whether it's this board putting it on, whether it's a senior center putting it on, whether it's the Chamber of Commerce, whether it's an individual, whatever, then the fees could be waived for that because it's giving back to the community.
Beneficial to the
Yeah.
community.
So I think that's kind of the question is what's the ultimate, who's getting the purpose of it?
Well,
It's
we
just a
was,
private
we was
family
voting
function?
for what happened.
Yeah, okay.
So, but you guys are talking about two separate.
Two
events.
separate entities, yes.
Yes.
Okay, okay, what, okay.
Okay. questions?
Now, last year, we did have no man show up. He thought it was the senior citizens dinner, and we just invited him in, and he said, I sat beside him here while he ate his dinner. You know, that's,
Yeah. I mean,
that's
that's
just
great.
what you do. Come on in, honey, have
Him
me.
and his girlfriend come there for breakfast.
And it was,
She passed away, that he got coming once in a while, and he got out of her. And he said the car's out there, so he pulled it.
but it was great. I mean,
Come in. We'll feed you.
Okay, is anything, you guys done?
One more thing,
One more thing.
looks like there's cookies over there.
That's two pans of them.
Huh? She told me, we did take that, and we had to eat them all.
I had to eat them all, no, I can't eat them all. They're okay.
I make a motion to adjourn. Can I ask for, oh, sorry, you asked.
You guys.
Ask for a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second. All in favor, aye. Aye. Meeting's adjourned.
If you don't want to eat one now, I brought baskets, you can take one home, go fly home.